Good morning, Linda. And Rose, good morning. Thank you for being here. I missed you guys. I'm still on call this week as a standby for grand jury duty, but I'm really disappointed because I haven't been contacted at all, and I really wanted to learn how this all works. I really wanted to participate, but I guess they have found the jurors that they need, or maybe in our county right now there just aren't the cases that they need to look at. But I was really disappointed because I really wanted to learn and experience what it's like to be a juror. So maybe next time. But thank you for being here. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day in Northwest Ohio. Yesterday we had a high of like 84. Supposed to be warm again today. So after the live, I will be getting out into the gardens and start figuring out what flowers I need, because the grower who I get my flowers from, he's got a soft opening happening this weekend. So we are going to go buy flowers. But I need to have a plan. Otherwise, I will buy everything in sight and come home and not know what to do with the plants that I brought home. So exciting things. In the Stampin' Up world, yesterday started the free shipping on orders of $75 or more. And that is before tax and shipping. And it goes through today and tomorrow. So if there's any cardstock, especially, that you use a lot, maybe you want to pick up a couple extra packages, because the price increases from $11.50 to $14 May 6th when the new annual catalog goes live. So something to think about. If there's certain cardstock that you find you use a lot of, you may want to get your hands on a couple extra packages and save a little bit of money. Okay, I am going to flip the camera around and we're going to get started with today's mystery quilt card. And I'll check my comments to see who all's here. Okay. Greet each other, say good morning. If you're new, let us know so that we can welcome you. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, maybe like that. And let's see what it looks like on the computer. Okay, now I gotta make this a little bit smaller. Good morning, Becky and Lori and Marilyn and Kay and Tony. Thanks for sharing. Kathy and Linda, Beth, Carol, another Linda, Jill, Sherry, Kathy, Jasmine, Vesta, Diane, Linda. Lots of Lindas today. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, so the stamp set I'm going to use is, I'm going to use the Sentiments from You Are Remarkable. I love this stamp set. I love that our sentiments are more vertical than horizontal. And this is one of my favorites, and it's the first time I've really gotten to play with it. I haven't done a lot of the stamping and coloring, but I do love the sentiments, and that's what attracted me to this stamp set, was the sentiments. And then we're going to use the Floral Delight Designer Series paper. This is your yellows. That's very popular, and I was running low. I was really proud of myself that I've almost used up the package of Designer Series paper, but I love it so much that when I placed my order for cardstock, I added another pack of that Designer Series paper. It's one of my favorites. It's one that I'll probably hoard, like some others in the past that I've really, really loved. So I'm going to scroll back down. Hi, Virginia. Hi, Michaeline and Carol and Susan. Susan says she's so happy to be back. Oh my gosh, you're a new grandma? Susan, congratulations. Oh my goodness, what a happy, happy time. That is wonderful. Okay. All right, yeah, let's move some things out of the way. I just got some things I did ahead of time, and you'll notice there may be a few additions to the prep here that you didn't have, because, you know, I change my mind between the time I post the prep and we do the live sometimes. I add things, you know, so it doesn't always look the same. But let's talk about what I posted for prep. Okay, so I've got these 1/8 inch strips. I've got 4 that are an 1/8 by 6, and I've got 4 that are an 1/8 by 4. And I'm using the white side of that designer series paper. And then I've got 6 of the Mossy Meadow, I guess you would call it. This is the designer series paper, but it's the green side. I've got 6 of those, and those are 1 1/4 inches square. And then I've got 16, and this is like between crumb cake and pecan pie side of one of the sheets in that DSP. And I've got 16 of these little squares that are 3/8 of an inch square. And don't worry, you're not going to have to cut those in half diagonally. I had somebody message me last night that said, I hope those little pieces are going to stay square, or something to that point. So that really made my night. But I'm like, I'm not going to tell you now. You're going to have to wait till the live to find out. Hi, Kathy. Hey, Judy. Hi, Kathy. And Doris, and maybe who else is watching from Wisconsin? Hi, Lori. Okay, and then out of that designer series paper, I went into my scraps and I cut 6 1-inch squares. Okay, just some scraps there. You know, in quilt cards, we really are not, nothing's really a stash buster, because we use scraps mainly, but at least there's a purpose for those scraps. This 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white is going to be the insert for the card. And we're just going to do a standard fold as far as a card base. This is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer. And I chose just to go tone on tone so that it matches my card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And you can't see it, but it's already scored at 4 1/4. Now I have an alternative fun fold to show you at the end. I came across a fun fold base that I had done nothing with, and oh my gosh, it was perfect for this card. So I'll show you that. A couple with 2 more examples, because I want to talk about how things change when you move color around, okay? So we're going to put the card base aside and the insert. I want to show you how we're going to mark on our layer, okay? Again, this is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer. And what I want to do is I want to, oh boy, I better look at this again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I need some guidelines to help with the placement of the pieces. So I'm going to put this at 1 1/8, 1 1/8. And you can score or you can draw with a pencil and a ruler a line. And I'm going to go ahead and show you, I've got my OmniGrid ruler, which is 1 inch wide. So if I find my inch on my my trimmer, I can line up the edge of my ruler with that and know that, and I'm going to butt it up here, and the right side of my ruler is going to run right along my scoring and cutting track, and I'm just going to draw a line. And I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to repeat that. So you can score or you can draw. The only reason why I am drawing for you is because you're not going to be able to see my line, and honestly, I would have a hard time seeing it also to line up the pieces. So there we go. That's what it looks like. That's what's gonna keep us straight. Okay, I think that's it for the trimmer. You can put that baby away, and I am going to move my pieces here, and I'm gonna work on my grid paper. Not that I'm gonna need it, I don't think, but I'm just gonna work on it. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is bring in your 1 and, did I say 1 1/4? Yeah, your 1 1/4 inch squares and your 1 inch squares. And what we're going to do is we're going to layer these. So each, let's see, let me zoom in a little bit more. So each of these piles is going to get a mate. So we're just going to center our 1 inch square on our 1 1/4 inch square. So that's the first step. Hope everybody's doing well today. Okay, there's 3. I just love the yellows in this designer series paper. I love the lemon lolly. I love a butter yellow. I know I probably mentioned this before, but when I was younger, I wanted a blue and butter yellow kitchen. Never did it. Never even got close to blue. Right now, our kitchen, the walls are a light gray, probably lighter than smoky slate. And of course, you know, like the white trim kind of just has that, I don't even know if gray is still the popular color for interior walls and stuff. I don't know what is trending, but we're still in that gray and white phase. Okay, so here I've got my little layers. And what we're going to do, now that I used my silicone mat just so I wouldn't get glue all over everything. I'm going to just bring in my pool party layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these vertical lines, and we're going to set our squares on point. Now they should go all the way to the top. Your points should be on that line, and they also will be touching each other over here on the side. You might have to scooch them just a little bit, but what you want to do is just come up with an arrangement that you like. And don't be too fussy, because we're going to quilt, we're going to add a label, but this they should go all the way from the top to the bottom and look something like this. Hi Melinda, hi Ann. Hey Sharon, welcome back. Oh, she's got a gray and white kitchen too. Yay. Okay, so you get your layout, and then you can go ahead and you can put these down. This pattern is something I found on Pinterest as a quilt. Not as a card, but a full-blown quilt. And I really liked it and thought, oh, let's see what we can do with that. And just lightly place them until you know everything's where it's at, in case you have to scooch them a little bit. I like this pattern just as it is, but we are going to keep adding to it. And so when we're connecting our designer series paper squares, you notice you're getting your squares of the pool party coming through in the center and off to the sides. Oh shoot, I think I want this one over here. I don't want two of the same paper. Oh, and then I get two of these. Oh well. Oh well, it's scrappy. Overthinking it. Okay, move that over just a little bit. Move this one over a little bit. If they touch each other a little bit and overlap, that's okay. You should not be that far off. Okay, so there is the first step to our quilt card. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in these little 3/8 inch squares. Okay, again, I'm using it's like a crumb cake and a pecan pie mix here. I'm going to use my take your pick tool that's got the putty on the end so I can pick these pieces up easier. I'm just going to flip them over now the best that I can. And what you can do, I'll show you where you're going to place just little drops of glue. We're going to work in the center, and then I'll work at the top and bottom. But where your diamonds meet, you're going to put just a little bit, just a dot, because those are only 3/8 inch squares. But see where I've got the glue? To the left and right where the two pieces of designer series paper meet. I'm going to take my tool, pick up a square with the putty end, and I'm just going to put them on point, and they're going to fit right in the corner of my squares. And they should just kind of slide right in there, just like a puzzle. Whoops, this one just wants to move on me. Okay, and then I just work down. Okay. Oops. Come on, I only need one of you. But I love it when I feel like my piece just locked in. It's like a little snap almost. Okay, so there we've got those 3/8 of an inch squares. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put at the top and bottom, I'm going to put the squares also. Now they're going to hang off the edge, but that's okay because we're going to go back in and we're going to trim everything up. So they are going to hang off, but you want to get them all the way up there. You just want to carry this pattern all the way through. Come on, get on there. Okay, I'm just going to flip it around and do the end, the other end. Okay. Let's put it into place. And 2 more. And this step will be done. I will have a PDF for this. It'll probably get done rather quickly. I've taken all the pictures so far that I want for my PDF. It's just a matter of putting it into Word. So the next step is we've got, well, here is our second step. We've got all of our little 3/8 inch squares tucked into where the bigger squares meet. Oh, Linda's already on it. Oh, I see what you're saying, Jane. By the way, good morning. So, anyway, there's that step. Now I'm going to switch glues because I want to use my fine tip for the next step. Because these little straws here are so thin, they're only 1/8 of an inch. And the Tombow might get a little messy. So anyway, I want to make sure that you can see. I'm going to start with my longest pieces first. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay these down diagonally, and we're going to cut these bigger, not cut literally, but what we want to do is we want to lay them and divide these bigger squares. So you might want to just play with laying a couple down. We'll just do 2 at a time. And make sure that your strips are going past your layer. See how it's just dividing those bigger squares? That's what we want to do. Now, what I like to do, this is just my personal thing, to know where I want the glue to stop. I flip the ends of my design, my strip. I flip them up and make these little fins. Number one, it gives me something to hold on to. Excuse me. But when I turn it over, see how I got these little fins on both ends? It gives me something to hang on to. And then I'm just going to run a bead of glue along there. And this is where that the smaller tip comes in handy. Now I can grab my fins. Gonna eyeball it here. And you'll notice that your designer series paper is not going to fit right down into the corner. It's going to be offset. And now I can push that in place. And I'll do that to my other one. Create my fins. Just run that bead of glue down there. And again, I'm eyeballing it just to divide those bigger squares in half. And just be gentle, pushing it down. You don't want too much glue because you can see it just moved. I'm going to have to come in with my adhesive eraser. Oh boy, that one really got boo-booed. Okay, Julie, keep your fingers out of it and just let it dry. Okay, so I've done my two long ones going left to right. Now I can come in with my other two, and I am going to divide them this way. So I'm working in the middle to get this Argyle pattern. I'll start in the middle, and then I'll use my smaller ones on the ends there. So Linda caught on to Argyle right away. That's awesome. I wasn't really sure what Argyle was. I mean, I've seen Argyle sweaters and Argyle socks and stuff, but never really looked at the pattern. Okay, let's go about like that. Just tap it in gently with your finger. Just run it. Okay. And then we'll do this other one. And then we'll do the smaller ones. And then what we'll do is we will flip our layer over and trim off anything that's sticking out of bounds here. Okay, does that look about right? Okay, just then tap, 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 tap. And now we can work with our smaller pieces. I'll work down here. And when you place your smaller pieces down here at the bottom, you should get your they should meet. Okay? So let's do a little fins up here. Another thing that I am looking for when I'm putting these down is I'm looking for the pool party that you can see between those little 3 8-inch squares and our thin strips here. I'm just looking to see that they look somewhat even. Okay. Fins up. I think that's a surfing term, isn't it? Fins up. Okay, so and then flip it around and do the other end. Okay, so let's go this way. Make my fins. While I have been waiting to see if I'm going to get called for grand juror duty, I've been switching things around in my craft area a little bit and trying to use my space more wisely. And I'm feeling pretty accomplished on some things as far as I found that I was storing the wrong things in the wrong places, and I wasn't making very good use of my space. So it's been fun to get see spaces open up that weren't open before, and I just really feel a lot more productive. So this is our Argyle quilt card. And where was that I got a little sloppy? Now I can't find it. Huh, I was going to use, I don't even feel it. Well, that's good. Here I thought I was really making a mess, and now I can't feel it. Okay, we're going to keep going. So now we're going to flip it over, and we're going to trim off all of these parts that are hanging off the edge. Just going to clean this up. We're going to cut the chaos off. This, I love this part because when I did strip quilts, in the flip and sew, so that you're kind of like doing your quilting at the same time, when I was just taking random scraps and sewing them together, I'm like, this is really the most awfulest quilt I have ever seen. But as soon as I trimmed off, or I squared it and got all that chaos off of there, it totally changed the feel of the quilt. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. But I wasn't feeling that until I got it all cleaned up. And the projects I was doing when I was making those, they were bigger than a placemat, but I did them for the Humane Society and the other shelters. I just made little tiny quilts for the cats and the small dogs, and even, you know, some larger dogs, that they would have something soft to lay on in their kennels at the shelter. So you know, they don't care what your fabrics look like if you got something next to each other that, you know, you wouldn't want to do maybe in a bed quilt. But they were really quick and easy to do, and I loved just cleaning it up, and look at how nice that looks. If you need to go in and put some glue under your ends, go ahead and do that. But there is our Argyle quilt block. Do you like it? I thought it was a fun pattern. And we didn't have to cut any really teeny tiny pieces to go in. Hi, Lynn. I'm glad you're here, and hi, Zena. Oh, Linda, a knitter. Oh, what is it, Linda, when they call it when you have to rip out your stitches in knitting? Is that frogging or something like that? I loom knit because I don't know how to use needles. My mom was a knitter. She tried to teach me. It didn't work out well. But I can loom knit and put the yarn around the pegs and stuff. But I think one time I had to go back and do something, and I think they called it frogging. I'm not sure. Hi, Kay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to quilt this. So I am going to put this in my embossing folder, and I really love this distress tile. So just going to put my quilt card in my embossing folder, and I'm going to step away just for a second, and we're going to quilt this. My machine is closer to me than it was before since I moved the room around a little bit, and I love it. Everything's close by. I feel so much more productive, making better use of my space. Okay, can you see the quilting? I love this embossing folder. So there's the quilting. And now what we can do is we'll bring in our card base. Just going to fold it in half. Look at my bone folder. Your bone folder does not make a good screwdriver. It definitely was, it was wide enough for what I needed. I was taking the doors off of a little desk thing. I wanted the doors off so that the shelving was wide open. And it fit really well, but it snapped the end of. So guess what's coming in my next order besides my card stock is a couple more bone folders. So our quilt top here is going to go right on top of our card base. I think I'll go back to the Tombow, the green glue bottle. Again, simple card. I like the quilt blocks to do the work for me. I want them to be what catches the attention of the person who receives it. So I didn't get too carried away with embellishing, but isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh, I just love it. And then I can't wait to talk to you about color placement. Maybe we can do that right now. No. We'll wait till it's done. Okay. Card insert. Where's my insert? I'm going to do a little bit of stamping here. I don't normally stamp on my live. I'm not good at it. And I'm really especially not good at it when people are watching. But I am going to just, with this leaf, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to put some leaves up in the corner. Okay? So that's my little bit of stamping. That was an afterthought. Okay. I just feel more comfortable piecing than I do stamping. Okay. Oh, I can do it. No, I'll keep it up in the corner here. So there's the inside. You know me, I like my designer series paper on the back, so I've cut a 2 1/8 by 5 1/2, and I think, yeah, we'll just do it right here. My fold's off a little bit. That's okay, no biggie. And then get my button. Signing my quilt. It's the only way I can use up more paper is by putting it on the back of my card. We certainly, like I said, we're not busting our stash by the little pieces that we use. Okay. Now, I've got the sentiment that I used. And I stamped the solid image flower. What did I do with the stamp set? Oh, here it is. So I used this image, and I used, this reminds me a little jelly bean for the center. And I stamped off in my, well, the Lemon Lolly is full strength, but I used crumb cake, stamped it off once, and then did my center so that my words would still show, but it really brought a lot to this label by adding that little stamped image behind it. So I've got it on dimensionals here. And I am just going to put this up here, and look at, I'm going to cover up kind of one of these squares so it's not so noticeable that I got them close together and I didn't want to. So there's my label. Now I did make a bow with the linen thread, and I just love the wildness of this linen thread. It's crazy. I love it. And I think I'm just going to put it over here on the side like that. I love the crazy tails. And I have to have metal. I need a metal embellishment for this. I think it just adds a lot to them. So these are our metallics. This isn't the new metallic ones. These are still the ones that are current until the new catalog starts. But I am just going to maybe put one there. I'm going to put them right on my label. If you wanted to do keep the odd number and do 5, you could set some off onto your quilt block. But that's it. I just want simple embellishing. I want my quilt to shine, be the star. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of extra with that. So that is the card. I'm going to, because I want to show you, I want to put 2 cards next to it. So I have a challenge for you, and maybe you don't want to make this card more than once. That's fine. But if you do, I want you to take your 3/8 inch squares, your color that you chose for your 1 1/4 inch square, and the color that you used for these really thin strips, and I want you to change them around. And here's why. Because it totally can change the look of the card. So here, the crumb cake and pecan pie squares, I moved that color to where the Mossy Meadow larger square is. And I changed from the white thin strips to the green. And then on this one here, I moved them around again. So if you look at these cards, the thin strips, here it is in crumb cake, pecan pie, here it is in the white, here it is in the Mossy Meadow green. Again, my little squares are each of the different colors. And then I moved around my background squares. So do you see how moving those 3 colors around changed up the look of the card? So my challenge is to you, if you feel like making it more than once, is make a card by changing where you used those 3 colors. Now, I want to show you what an aha thing that happened last night. When I was straightening up, I found a card base, a fun fold that I didn't follow through on. And it was a gatefold card. So let's move these out of the way. Here's the card. Now, so here it was a gatefold, right? What I did was, after I quilted my top, I cut it in half at 2 inches, and then when I glued it down, I had 3 sides that were the same, because you're going to layer it just like you did the card we just did. But you're not going to have that border on the inside. But when it closes, it looks like it's that same piece. But it's a gatefold. And I just put my label in the middle there then. And then I added some Designer Series paper to my inside flaps. So for a gatefold, you're going to use a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. you're going to score at 2 1/8 inches on both ends. And then that will give you your gatefold. On the back, I went with a full sheet of Designer Series paper, and I went ahead and I quilted that also, just for some texture in my hands. And so that was the alternative, was the gatefold. So we have the 3 that I have changed where I used those 3 colors. I just made them switch places with each other. And then for an alternative, I got the little gatefold out of it. So in the PDF, I'll give you the gatefold measurements. Also, there's no extra cutting or anything to change, because our quilt top is exactly the same. We just cut it in half down the middle vertically, so that I had a panel for each side of my gate. So it just kind of just came together that way. So that's it for today, everybody. Hello, Anne. Hi, Betty. Marilyn, I see you jumped in also. So I'll give 2 of these cards away. So if you want to type in Argyle in the comments, then I'll pick 2 people that I will send a card to. So the keyword is Argyle if you're interested. And if you want to keep an eye out for the PDF that will happen here in the next couple of days, that gets uploaded into the files over in our private group, which is called Quilt Cards and More. That's our community that we have built, where we share other quilt designs. We have a couple people who generously share their patterns that they're doing besides what they might see me do. There are join questions, just to let you know. And but that's where you're going to find the PDF. So with that, I am going to let you go create. I can't wait to see what you do, what papers you choose. And I'd like to know if you take me up on that challenge. And if you do, please show your 3 cards together so we can see how different they look and feel by switching the colors around, okay? So, yeah, I'm going to let you go. I can smell my spaghetti sauce on the stove, so I think, well, my husband's watching that while I'm up here. But I'm going to go play in the garden while it's still nice, and I'll be checking in to see what you're doing with today's project. Everybody have a very blessed day. It feels so good to be back, and we will see you in the group, and you'll see me live next week. So, everybody have a blessed day.